Well, it's Saturday. Did not feel that great this morning. Didn't do anything special on a Friday night to make me not feel too good this morning, with the exception of eating some very hot ramen outside of my normal dietary restrictions. So I think that did it. Let's turn up my guitar just a hair, yeah. There we are. Well, if you're out there, hello, hello, hello. Not playing the Jolly Heretic role this morning. Maybe Jolly Guitar Heretic. Don't know. But I'm feeling clean, both physically, spiritually, and guitaristically. Now I'm not, because I hear a cat that's going to the bathroom, and I think it's outside of a litter box, and oh, great joy of joys, it didn't sound very solid. I'll be back. Gary. Thanks, Gary. That's great. I really appreciate you, Gary. What you got going on? How bad is the damage? Well, it could be worse. I'll grant that. But still not very good. You need to do that in the box, even. In the box. Oh. Hello, paper towels. Yes, Gary. Thank you very, very much. You're a very good kid. Well, mostly. But I think this exception is a main one. To light a candle for Gary. All right, Gary, move, dude. You're dumb. There's nothing you can bury. There is nothing with which you can bury your squirty poopies. Nothing at all. Poor little Gary. Make him shake, kitty. That'll do it. Poor little Dare Bear. Well, I'm back. Apologies for the absence, but it doesn't look like I missed much. So I'm just going to kick back and play, and if people are there, great. And if not, great too. Means I can leave the stream early today and not be obligated. never lose is noodling. See where your fingers take you. Like, hey, if I did this sixth shape a lot, you know, of course you can pick melodies out with that, but just see where your fingers take you. Sixth. Always nice. What if I made sixths and fives and threes? Change the key. Maybe it'll lead you somewhere. You never know. Like the sound of seconds, not necessarily the sound of silence. Part about susses, you get that neat little amen type of thing when you go back to the third. But you have to hold the full, which is pretty nifty. Not a lot of interactivity today. I've only been on for about 20 minutes, but really about 10. I'm okay with that. I can play what I want.
pun.
Ah! Saturday morning necessarily isn't the best time to do this, maybe. Hi there, kitty boy. Hi. There's my good boy. Man, I should just play a video game. Saturday. Sun peeks out finally. I think we're going to get a little drizzle today, but I'm washing the car. It's going to be a nice one. Tomorrow, might hang out with John and Christina. Don't know. I do have to wish my friend Joel and Courtney, a happy first week wedding anniversary. Oh, what a good kitty boy. Look at this, though, fine man. Isn't him just a good boy? Ah, what a good kitty. I have to say, I'm a little surprised about this. I mean, I know I'm late, but I'm going to complain. We usually get at least one person tuning in. Well, you know what? That's cool. I will no longer do Saturday streams. Monday night it is. Kitty baby. What a good little boy. Let me do this. I can pet you. Jessica Kitty. Fingernail. Also lack of talent. My good kitty. You want to play guitar too? Oh, hey there, Rafi. How are you, man? I was just about ready to kick off of here. There was nobody around. And I'm like, I can do other stuff. I don't mind. Feeling very clean today. So, there was something I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm glad you showed up. Because otherwise I was going to have to make a small snippet of a video and explain this. So, I hear sounds. You hear sounds. And as we're developing our ear, our sounds that we hear aren't always necessarily right. Well, one of the ways you can tell if they're right or wrong is by dissonance or consonance. So, if two sounds are the same, you'll hear them pretty much the same. Like so. Those are consonant sounds. Now there are other consonants as well, like fifths, fourths, thirds, that kind of thing. But you'll generally hear, if you're trying to figure out a tune, like one note here, if you're playing the right note, it's going to sound like the right note. If you're playing the wrong note, you're going to hear differences. That's a pretty easy way to tell you're not in the right place. So if I played this, for instance, I can tell that I'm off because of that little rattle in there. And you can hear that when you're doing unison bends too. So unison, off, off, off. Well, third, off. But this, you can definitely tell there's something wrong. So the best thing to do when you're hearing something that's kind of not right, like that, when you're trying to play along with something, is move what you're doing. So if you're playing this and along with something else doing the same thing, and you're not doing this because you hear this, you know you're off by one note, or at least by a pitch or two. And that, to me, is pretty good. You could do the same thing by telling, or with tunings. So if the tape is a little pitched high or pitched low, whatever it is that you're listening to, versus like a real well-tuned guitar, that should be able to be heard because there's a dissonance there. Like very close, but not quite the same. There, not quite the same note. It'll sound just a little off. So if I'm playing stuff like the... How did I go? If I'm playing... I don't remember how to play the Philip McCartney thing. But if I'm playing along with something and I'm hearing a dissonance in there, sometimes they can pass by very quickly. The longer we hold down those notes, the more obvious the dissonance is going to be. So sometimes it's harder to figure out faster things. It's also harder to figure out things that are naturally dissonant. So if you're listening to Slayer, for instance, and doing the that's one thing. But if they're harmonizing, that's where, because it's naturally dissonant anyway, it's where it starts to get a little tricky. But by slowing things down and really getting the sound in your head of what it is that they're playing, it's much easier to pick out. And it gets faster over time. It's not an immediate success thing. You're not just going to be able to jump right into it. But it's a matter of learning, correction, learning, correction, learning, correction. We all do it. It's just a matter of course. But as far as other things are concerned, like tonality, here's how I figure out what tonalities are what. Play a tone, play another tone on top of it that's in a key specific to this. So if I was to, I was thinking I want to play E Dorian. This is a good way of getting the sound in your head of what that really sounds like. Doing the same thing with intervals that are in the key. In other words, knowing the scale on two strings. And playing intervals from both strings, usually a third apart is a good place to start. good sound for what you're playing. I mean, really, really well. So this, for instance, the sound of Dorian has this very Doors vibe. Oddly enough, it's also D major, but played with an E as your bass note. That kind of solidifies your tone. Very Dorian. You want to change your key, practice something else, Phrygian dominant maybe. You really get a good feeling for really what these things sound like. Really. No. Yeah, this thing is irritating. Telling you. Okay. How about that? Better? A little bit? All I was really explaining was that when you're figuring things out, if you hear things like this, then you have the wrong note, you're off by one. Move it around and see where it goes. Nope. Ah. What's up? Good morning. And then I was talking about how to find tonalities as far as when you're practicing, trying to, ingrain the sound of different scales, modes in your head. And I was using the low E here as an example. It's a good example of a drone note. And then picking a scale that started with an E and moving along with it. Like E major is easy. I know you're a fan of Blaze Bayley. Oh, don't do that. There we go. I am not quite the fan. But that's okay. There are people in the world, such as yourself, that can be wrong. That's all right. That's a lovely sound. Natural dissonance built into this one. Lovely. But this. Lovely thing. E major, that was E Phrygian dominant, we could do other things as well. Let's, figure out notes. They'll all be very similar, right? Because they all kind of have the same grouping in a way. A whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step being major. That's just all of those steps and whole steps and half steps. Those are all there in all the 7 primary Greek modes, but it's just a matter of where they're at. So in a sense, you only have to really memorize a few shapes, and those shapes will repeat but in different places to give you different tonalities. Case in point, I'm going to play in Locrian now. Actually, yeah. You can do all sorts of things with that. Again, with intervals, which would actually be here. There's no B in Locrian, it's E flat. Works for me. Some of these are almost happy. Well, see you later, Rafi. I hope at least you got the general gist of what I was talking about. As far as who the mastermind of Maiden is, it has long been established that Dave Murray brings like little acoustic ditties to the table, like the. Yeah, that's all Dave. That's right. It's hard to play, actually. Sitting like this and going like, I haven't played this forever. No. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should do this. Very nice medieval type of thing. But as far as like song arrangements are concerned and primary riff, it's almost always been Steve Harris. And when Steve decided to stop doing that and step away, Iron Maiden changed inextricably. He did write stuff like Fear of the Dark and all that. He did write some things like Wasting Love, at least a little bit of. But there were many tunes after Seventh Son of a Seventh Son where he stepped back and just let other people do the writing because he was kind of burnt out. And that's when you started to get weird Maiden. Like, stuff went kind of wrong. Around the same time Adrian took off. But it's long established that, Harris was the primary driving force behind it. It's kind of like saying the Metallica, driving force behind Metallica would be the writings of both not Dave, well, yeah, in the early days it sure was, but Hetfield and Ulrich, if I can even pronounce the name today. But you can't really say that a vocalist doesn't come up with their own melodies. Most of the time, I think they do. Unless they're just ululating. You know, that kind of thing. There's really no melody there, is there? Let me switch guitars. It's already plugged into something. I will fix that. Now what is... There we are. Morning, Christian.
Good morning.
How are you? Good. That's more like it, isn't it? So I did a fret job on this last night and a setup, and I'm mostly happy with it. I think at some point in the future, there are some things that I'm going to need to correct. I don't know who owned this before me, but whoever did, they may have put very heavy strings on it. Right now, I believe it's strung with 10s anyway. But after about 20 years, and this is not a 20-year-old guitar, all guitars tend to have a little bit of a bend here. You know, they'll kind of say, all right, this is the pivot point, and they'll kind of start to shift where the neck will be pulled upwards a little bit. And if you correct for that pull by putting a shim under here, you'll notice that there's a ramp up right here. Well, this has already developed a small ramp, and I think that that needs to be dialed out. So how do you do that? Well, you remove all the frets, you level the fretboard, then you clean out the fret slots, you put new frets in, you level and crown them again, and then polish them, and then you'll have a virtually new instrument with a slightly thinner fretboard. Another thing that I could possibly do, and I'm thinking about this, is if I remove the whole thing and then add an ebony fretboard instead, that might be kind of neat. It'd be a unique piece. No other Ibanez would look like that. And of course, no inlay if I did that. So, but they're just thoughts. So this is a mahogany body guitar with a flamed maple veneer on the top. I'm okay with veneers. I really don't care. Mahogany body is good, though. We have a maple fretboard and a maple neck, along with a veneer flamed maple cap. It's pretty, and it's cheap. The pickups, some people complain about them. I think I mentioned this on the last stream, that the newer Ibanez Quantums, they're not the same as the old Ibanez Quantums. The QM1 and the QM2s were remarkable pickups, very juicy, good sounding. Some people complain that these are a little too high-endy and sterile, or have a little too much high-end and are a little on the sterile side, sounding-wise. I don't have a problem with them. I like them. So I'm not going to be replacing these, although I've considered it. And with what? Well, of course, Guitar Part Zone pickups. But it would be like, for something like this, with a color like this, Zebra. Zebra just fits. These are pretty inexpensive. You can get them for as low as like $275. I can't talk about condition because I don't know those, of course. I didn't know this until I picked it up. But it's pretty good. But it's got that whistly sound. That's why I'm not getting rid of the pickups. This right there, that... Very Andy LaRock, very happy with that. I can live with the sound like that. As far as the bridge pickup is concerned, yeah, it's a little on the tinny side, but that can be adjusted. this is not a sound that's geared towards rhythms at this point. Uh-oh, we got a kitty again. What am I to do? As far as the Ibanez that I was just playing is concerned, back over there, the white one, the JS 140 model, is basswood, as usual. The only thing I don't like about this guitar, and I'm okay with it, but I don't really, it's not something that I'm excited about, is the construction of this tremolo. It's very high back here. It just really sticks up. And therefore, it kind of gets in your way when you're playing. And I'm never for anything being in your way when you play. This is also encroaching just a little bit onto where I like to play, so it does force me to change my style just a little bit as far as like approach to picking. It's not bad enough to where I'm really angry about it. I wouldn't have bought it if it was. But this may need to be changed out. And I've been on Ibanez forums already, and some other things like Gem Site and all that. And some people are saying to replace the standard Ibanez DL tremolo, which is double locking tremolo, with a Goto, because Goto makes Ibanez tremolos anyway. The problem is the Goto trim. It's a beautiful piece of architecture, but those are really designed to replace Floyd Rose units specifically. The reason why I'm hesitant about it in specifics is that Ibanez always cuts their tremolo cavities to fit pretty perfectly with whatever tremolo they're putting in there. And this cut does not match the shape of the other one, of the Goto. So what am I thinking? I don't know. There are lots of low pro options, and that's what I wanted to do anyway. I wanted a low pro option. So I'm thinking that a low TRS-3 or a low TRS-2 would probably fit, and I don't want to have to route it. I can, but I don't want to. I think we all have to recognize the difference. Like, I can go to the store right now and buy a 5-pound bag of cinnamon bears and eat them, but that would not be a good idea. I don't want to. So yeah, that would not work at all with this route. But I love Kahler tremolos. I like the fact that they were a completely different and innovative design at the time. Although they did make a Floyd Rose type called the Spider, with a Y, Spyder. Good call on you there, Liquid Metal. It might be possible that the Kahler Spider would work. It might also not be possible. I haven't checked the dimensions of it, but it's possible. Now, as far as a standard Kahler is concerned, I would have to fill this hole, which I can do, but I don't want to, and then reroute the proper hole for a Kahler because that's a cam design. It's a spring, coiled spring, a tension spring inside of a cam that allows it to rotate back and forth. It's not exactly the same type of thing. So I just want a replacement unit that's flatter. That's all. Like the one on the Ibanez here, for instance, the JS140. It's a little proud, and it's okay, but it's a much flatter design, and it's much more comfortable than this as a result. But which is the better guitar? Yeah, the JS is the better guitar. This is very good though. It's not bad at all. It's a rather joyous thing to play. Also, Murica, right back to you. Although I'm a real big fan of Japanese-made stuff, so even though this is not Japanese-made, I do really, really appreciate the Hoshino Industries in Goto, the way they manufacture things. Their tolerances are fantastic, and they don't make bad things. They just don't, and it shows. They're very reliable, very good instruments. Everything they make is very reliable and good. Yes, she did say, Murica. Let me sit up proper. Only so far back a person can lean for a while. Sure, let's see what I can do. I don't want to tear it up. I like my guitar. Breakfast, sir. But you should practice on a clean tone. You'll hear all your mistakes much more clearly. And if possible, on the bridge pickup, in fact. That way you can practice your country, And hear if you're out of tune. Not bad. So, why, thank you very much. I appreciate you, sir. So, just goofing off. And I started with clean today, and I think that's where I'm going to end up. It's a nice tone. Stock pickups. And don't be afraid of noodling. I mean, really noodling. That's kind of the rule of the day. Just kind of noodle. Play whatever comes to mind. I mean, if it actually comes to mind. If it doesn't come to mind, just move your fingers around and see what happens. Might come up with something. You never know. If you have a tremolo, keep in mind that when you bend a string, that it will affect the other strings because it pulls the tremolo this way. So if you're going to bend a string, put a little counterweight with your hand on the tremolo. It's not perfect, but it's much better. See what I mean? Not perfect, but it does help. Bad. Bad. Just don't forget to take your hand off when you do that. It'll be a better thing than just letting it go. Actually much louder than I expected right there. Don't forget to practice picking. Switch it up. Skip, you know, literally skip. I mean, you can get the double thing, you know, really, if you wanted to, fine, but the, like your skip be down the lane and all the kind of stuff with it. Slight differences in rhythms. Shall we just arpeggiate today? That's a fun one. A little bit of a stretch, but nice. Don't forget to practice your shapes. Use your fingers, that helps. It's nice. Move that somewhere else, go ahead. Skipping though. You want to do practice other things? I'm so drawn to the seventh right now. Something about clean tones in seventh chords. Actually, rhythms too. Naturally, with a seventh like that, I'd want to be playing in a slightly different key. So. And, goof off to your heart's content. Well, I think I've goofed off to my heart's content. Been on for an hour. Saturday morning's done, I think. Oh yeah, 4-note per string. Do those. I mean, it's kind of hard to do that down here, but up here it's a lot easier. So, if you know where your scale shapes are, depending on, of course, the key that you're playing in, they're going to change around, of course. But just one to practice, I think is kind of fun, is shapes that are hard, and then there's shapes that are easy. The shapes that are easy are the fun ones to practice because it kind of gets you moving in the direction that I'm trying to get you going into much more quickly. So, whole step, half step, whole step. Now, this good shape to play, easy shape to play. When you play other ones like half step, whole step, whole step, it's a little more difficult. Whole step, whole step, whole step. Whole step, half step. They can be more difficult, but usually those are more difficult in other areas. But up here, it's a little more reasonable. So if you started with a 4-note, that's pretty great. Let's continue that down in the E minor fashion that we're accustomed to, which would be here, same shape, but D, C, E, or excuse me, D, C, B, A. And this is just a way of getting over, covering. Bunch of notes really fast with no chromatics. Now there's only so fast you can go. I could probably you can cover it at certain speeds, but this just kind of allows for ridiculousness, which is good. Sometimes you need that. Tap. Just take as many notes as you can, because you could really move that around pretty quickly. So if you wanted to conjoin shapes, that just happens to be a half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. It's a little hard to do, back and forth. So you might want to try something like that. Might help. Be at least a little helpful. That's when it gets a little more difficult, because now you have different shapes. Whole step, whole step, whole step. Whole step, whole step, half step. And half step, whole step. Well, whole step, half step, and then the same here. So I like it when they, and I think everybody does, when they're the same, just move it down a whole step, basically, and shape-wise, and then do the same shape. Call it good. Well, hopefully you all will be able to play that in no time, much better than I can, so enjoy your day, your Saturday. I'm taking off and relaxing. Have a nice day. Take care, everyone. Play faster. Bye.